Welcome to this explainer. Listen, if you've ever felt just completely, utterly drained by your own thoughts, I want you to know you are exactly in the right place today. Having a highly analytical mind is an incredible gift, absolutely. But let's be totally honest with each other here, it can be absolutely exhausting. You're constantly weighing, measuring, and evaluating everything around you. So today, we're going to act as your personal guide to unpack exactly why your brain works this way, and more importantly, why that is actually a profound strength.
I mean, have you ever spent an entire evening researching every possible angle of a seemingly simple choice? Like, say, buying a new coffee maker or picking a restaurant for dinner. You look at all the reviews, you compare the drip speed, the temperature settings, the warranties, the structural integrity of the plastic casing, and then, after hours of this intense, fast-paced research, you feel so overwhelmed by the sheer volume of options that you end up doing absolutely nothing. Zero. You just slam the laptop shut. That specific kind of decision paralysis, yeah, it leaves you feeling stuck, anxious, and deeply overwhelmed.
Okay, let's really dive into this. The world loves to throw labels around, right? People looking from the outside in, they might just call you indecisive, difficult, unnecessarily anxious, or honestly, even lazy. But psychology shows us that what the world labels as a simple flaw is actually a highly complex mechanism at work. What's truly happening under the surface is that your brain is operating with incredible cognitive depth.
Section 1. The Decision Paralysis Trap. Let's look at the psychological mechanism at play here.
I want to shift your perspective right now. Feeling completely paralyzed when it's time to make a decision, that is not a personal failure. You aren't just being difficult or stubborn. In fact, if you constantly find yourself stuck like this, it's actually a sign that your highly intelligent mind is functioning exactly the way it was originally designed to. Your brain is just trying to protect you through perfection. It isn't trying to sabotage you, it's literally trying to save you from making a mistake. This is our foundational reframe for everything we're looking at today. Your intense drive to analyze everything isn't a glitch. It's a deeply ingrained defense mechanism.
Section 2. Your hyper-connected brain. Let's explore how your mind actually works. The core psychological concept we need to talk about here is hyperconnectivity. That's the brain's natural tendency to connect information and examine every single angle of a situation. Your mind simply refuses to just rest and accept surface-level answers. Why? Well, because it naturally sees how absolutely everything connects together. You can't just look at one isolated variable. No, your brain instantly maps out the entire web of interconnected information.
And this brilliantly illustrates the exact difference in how people process reality. While an average brain sees a basic choice, accepts surface answers, and chooses quickly, your highly intelligent mind automatically processes hidden details that others completely miss. You actively examine all the long-term consequences. Because your mind works in this layered, hyper-connected way, you literally must gather maximum information before you can comfortably act. You are ensuring the absolute best outcome by observing the full picture.
Section 3. Running mental simulations. Let's talk about predicting the future. Because gathering all that data, that's just step 1. Step 2 is what really drains your energy. Constantly trying to predict the future before you ever make a single move. The psychological term for this is counterfactual thinking. And believe it or not, this kind of intense mental simulation burns a massive amount of metabolic energy. You are constantly asking, wait, what if this happens? Because you naturally see the patterns, the risks, and the consequences that other people are completely blind to. You see the long-term outcomes of every single option in front of you.
Let's break down how this cognitive progression actually plays out in real time. First, you instantly notice the details and patterns in a situation. Second, your brain immediately asks, well, what if this happens? And it spins up all these alternative scenarios. And third, you anticipate future issues and risks based on those exact scenarios. I really want to validate your experience here. Constantly trying to stay one step ahead of potential problems is incredibly taxing. It takes massive amounts of mental computing power to run these simulations all day long.
And, here's the great irony of this entire coping mechanism. If the brain can predict a problem, it thinks it can handle it. This is driven by your deep need for control. You replay possibilities and imagine different outcomes just to feel prepared. But because life is inherently unpredictable, this constant mental modeling backfires. Instead of making you feel prepared, trying to map out every single unknown just leaves you feeling completely overwhelmed.
Section 4. The perfectionism factor. Let's talk about those high internal standards.
Now, what's really interesting here is how this intense drive for perfection directly fuels your hesitation and decision paralysis. Let's break down the specific anatomy of perfectionism in a brilliant mind. Advanced intelligence is heavily linked to strong self-monitoring. Because your mind can clearly imagine the absolute ideal outcome, You instantly notice hidden flaws in anything that falls short. You naturally feel deeply dissatisfied with average results. You fear imperfect execution, so you demand absolute clarity before acting. Anything less than that perfect result, it just feels deeply uncomfortable to you. I want you to really take this next point to heart. You are not delaying because you are lazy. Your brain demands absolute clarity and perfection before making a move. Seriously, let go of the guilt right now. You are not procrastinating because you don't care. You're paralyzed because you care so deeply about doing it perfectly. Let's replace that heavy guilt with a real solid understanding of how your mind actually operates.
Section 5. Post-decision doubt. Let's look at what happens when you finally do make a choice. Because here is the incredibly cruel twist of having a highly analytical mind. You might think that finally pulling the trigger and making a choice would bring relief, right? Unfortunately, the struggle doesn't end once the choice is made. People with highly active minds often struggle to fully trust their own decisions. Even after you finally pick a restaurant or buy that coffee maker, your brain immediately goes back to work. It starts questioning if it was the right move, or if maybe you should have done something else entirely.
You make a choice hoping for that sunny relief, but reality hits like a tornado of second-guessing. You immediately imagine alternative realities. Why? Well, it's not because you're incapable of choosing. It's because your mind is able to see so many different possibilities. When your brain understands that every single option has some level of importance or consequence, no single decision ever feels 100% right. I want you to hear this loud and clear. This is a symptom of your incredible capability, not incompetence.
Section 6. Your cognitive depth. Why this isn't a flaw, but a feature.
We've talked about the challenges, the paralysis, and the exhaustion. But now, it's time to bring this all together. I want you to take a deep breath, slow down for a second, and really listen to what the science is telling us about your mind. I need you to internalize this without any judgment at all. You are not broken. You are not lazy. Your indecisiveness is not a flaw. You simply carry a highly observant, deeply processing mind that refuses to settle for less than the best.
So, the crucial point is this. Your struggles with making simple choices are not a sign of weakness. They are simply the cost of your incredible cognitive depth. Your analytical nature isn't a bug in your system, it's a feature. It's the very engine that allows you to see the world in such brilliant detail. You just need to recognize it for the powerful tool that it actually is.
Which leaves us with this final, incredibly important question. What if you stopped fighting your mind and started finding peace within it? Understanding how your brain works is the very first step. We don't label you as too complicated here. We explain the reality behind your psychology. If you found this explainer helpful and want more real psychology that helps you deeply understand yourself without all the fake motivation, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for joining me, and I challenge you today to start accepting your brilliant, complex mind.